परेशान है हम लोग, बच्चे हमारे घर में परेशान है।
How can anybody control the movement of a lakh of tourists which are in the state and the local population whose livelihood depends upon this Char Dham Yatra?
That on 15th, we had issued warning for heavy to very heavy rains, and we also said if you can postpone the yatra by 4 days, that's good enough.
Good evening and welcome to the Buck Stops Here weekend edition. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. On the show tonight, did the Uttarakhand government ignore a series of warnings from its own state weather department? Warnings that could have saved thousands of lives. These were sent out by the State Met Department on the 14th, 15th and 16th of this month to various authorities in Uttarakhand. They were also published in local newspapers. Crucially, the state's Met Chief, Anand Sharma, told NDTV that on the 15th of this month, a day before the deluge, they had warned the state government of very heavy rain and landslides and advised that the Yatra be postponed by 4 days.
Could pilgrims and tourists have been evacuated in time to avoid the monsoon fury in Kedarnath? The Uttarakhand Met Department claims warnings of very heavy rain, unusual for this time of the year, were issued 2 days ahead of the deluge. Warnings that were accompanied by an advisory that the Char Dham Yatra should be deferred by a few days.
We also said, if you can postpone the yatra by 4 days, that's good enough. And then on 16th again we said heavy to very heavy rainfall, specifically highlighting the regions. And then we also said landslides are going to be there. So people should avoid going to the hills, and people who are in the hills should move to the safer places.
The weather department's forecast was reflected in local newspapers. But the state administration's response, a warning to check weather bulletins before travelling, hardly conveyed the danger.
पिछले 10-15 साल से मैं देख रहा हूँ, हमेशा ये कहते हैं कि भारी बारिश होगी, तो भारी बारिश तो पिछले 10 साल में हुए हैं, लेकिन जिस इंटेंसिटी का अभी हुआ है उस टाइप का कोई बहुत खास स्पेशल वार्निंग नहीं था कि नहीं यात्रा रोकने के लिए नहीं कहा था, सिर्फ भारी बारिश की वो थी अमल कर दी.
Was the Met Department's forecast simply treated as routine and ignored by the state administration, or is it symptomatic of a larger problem of coordination? The blame game has already started, but the question is, could precious lives have been saved in this tragedy?
People would have slept in the lodges and just been washed away if the tourist police or my police chowkis, they were not alert and making continuous announcements to come to the Mandir Parisar in Kedarnath. Everybody was taken to the Mandir because that was considered to be the most safe place. And I think surely my men did a huge job that today we have saved around 7,000 to 8,000 people. They were kept alive by them. They were taken to the safe places or advised to be taken to the safe places. That sure did a good job.
While some pilgrims have acknowledged that there were local warnings, they say no one could have imagined the extent of the devastation that lay ahead.
11 से 12 के बीच सुबह अनाउंसमेंट हो रहा था, निरंतर चल रहा था वो कि यात्री जिन्होंने दर्शन कर लिए हैं तुरंत सुरक्षित उतर जाएं, तूफान आने वाला है, मौसम की चेतावनी दी जा रही थी, पर लोग ध्यान नहीं दे रहे थे.
So were there clear warnings and were they ignored?
Just that warnings were issued to the government, but no action was taken. This was on 15th of June.
We will reply all these questions after the rehabilitation work is over.
It's true that the incessant rain of June 16 and 17 came 2 weeks before the usual onset of monsoon and has been the highest in decades for this time of the year. But could a concerted effort on following an early warning system have minimized the damage? In Dehradun, Ketki Angre for NDTV.
Well, tonight we look beyond the immediate blame game to ask just how do we ensure that critical warnings are not ignored and that they are communicated in time to the people most at risk. Joining us tonight, Anand Sharma, Director of the Met Centre in Dehradun, Bhagcharan Das, spokesperson and MP, Lok Sabha MP of the Congress, also Shashidhar Reddy, Vice Chairman of the National Disaster Management Authority, someone who's been answering a lot of questions about the immediate aftermath of that response. But Anand Sharma, let me come to you first. your warnings, in a sense, now coming out at this point, warnings that were issued on the 14th, then again on the 15th. On the 15th, particularly, a warning also to postpone the Yatra. The Chief Minister, who we spoke to earlier, said at that point a lakh of people were already in the hills. So did that warning actually come in time, given it was 2 days before the worst of the rain and the landslides, or would it already have been too late?
No, the first signal we got was on 14th of June, and when the model started showing heavy precipitation, and that day we had issued the agro advisories to the farmers, and in that we had indicated heavy rain. At that time there was not a strong signal of very heavy rain was there. On 15th we got signal for very heavy rains, and then we had indicated about the very heavy rains then onwards.
And you had also recommended that the Yatra be postponed for 4 days.
See, we issue, special forecast for the Char Dham Yatris. We have those Gangotri, Yamunotri and Badrinath Kedarnath. So in that forecast we had indicated that the Yatris should postpone the Yatra by 4 days. That was on 15th.